So I had to get out of my tribal thinking as well, where it was only Christians who were connected with God in my worldview. Now the whole cosmos is connected. But at first it feels like you're losing a father figure, because that's been your image of God. And at the end of the process, you have this far more intimate sense of connection than you started with. But it's almost like you have to go through a grief process for your old worldview, even if you think, okay, I can see my old worldview was wrong or inaccurate. You still have to grieve for it, because it's been your life, it's been your place of security, and you have to go through a process of letting it go in order for a new worldview to form. And it's a little bit like the stages of grief. So you begin with denial. Oh, that can't be right. God wouldn't let that happen, was sort of my first initial thought. And then you have bargaining. No, I can see this new information is real. Can I massage it into my old worldview? And I meet a lot of people trying to do that. And the answer is no, you can't really. You do have to change your worldview in the light of data. And then you get angry. Oh my goodness, I've been lied to. I've been like, how could those guys at theological college allow us to miss this? And I'm angry with myself for not having joined the dots before. And then you reach a point of depression, where you think, oh, what do I do now? What do I do in this new universe? And then you reach acceptance of realizing we are all on a learning journey. Isn't it wonderful to learn new and truer things? And isn't it now about, how do I live in this cosmos? How do I thrive in this cosmos? How do I connect with the cosmic source, understanding God in a different way? And how do I reconnect with Jesus? And you can't fast track that process. You, in my opinion, I do think when your worldview radically shifts, you must take time over the steps. Otherwise you can stay trapped in confusion or anger, which can be very energizing, but it makes you bad company. You've got to get to that resolved place of asking the question, well, how do I live in this cosmos? And hopefully that's where my books take people.
So for anyone who has not read Paul's books, absolutely pick them up. They have been so pivotal for me on my journey, and they're great reads. They're fun. I think you have a fun way of articulating this information and making it not so heavy, as you're going through that relearning process.
Oh, that's certainly my intention, and I hope my humor is in there to carry people along. And I tell it as story as well, so they're not like textbooks where I, the expert, am telling the reader how it is. I share my story, and the reader kind of makes the discoveries with me as I make them.
Yeah, I loved that approach. It made it a real fun and easy read, even though the subject matter is a lot to take in. I want to go back to what you mentioned about Jesus for a moment, because as we're going through this worldview shift and reimagining, how our Bible has been written, or what those stories even meant, it can call into question, the entire Christian religion. And what I know to be true is that Jesus's teachings absolutely still apply, right? That even though this, version of our history may be changing a bit, Jesus himself as a teacher and master and Son of God who came to earth absolutely had important and profound messages to share with humanity. And so I don't want that to get lost in this for people who are on this journey of relearning. What would you say about that?
Well, that's absolutely right. And you will find Jesus threading through the books, because Jesus has been at the center of my life and faith and ministry. And part of my reframing has been, okay, how do I understand Jesus now and his ministry in the light of this new information? Because I've had to reframe my beliefs about the Hebrew scriptures and the meaning of them and the content of them radically. How does that relate to Jesus's teaching? And again, my understanding of Jesus, I would say, has really opened up. And I've realized that translation questions are just as important when it comes to Jesus as to the writings of the Hebrew scriptures. So you've got keywords in the Hebrew scriptures like Elohim, which have been translated as God, but often ought to have been translated as the powerful ones. And we're reading about the powerful ones who visited and colonized. And to make that mistake is very distorting of our idea of God.